You're listening to The Bloodshed Baddies.
Hi, I'm Lex,
And I'm Sam.
and we're the Bloodshed Baddies.
Yeah, we are baddies.
What up, what up, what up?
Hope you had a great week.
Here we are again for another week.
We're dancing.
Okay, Sam, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So there's this girl I work with, and she has an entire list of questions to ask people on her phone. So we'll just be like, pull out a question, and she'll ask us a
This is
question.
cool.
Yes. And I love this question. So if you were a meal, you have to pick a drink, a main course, and a dessert. What would you be and why?
Okay.
Do you want me to go first? So you have time to think?
1,000%. Yes.
Okay. My drink would for sure be a spicy margarita because I can be a little spicy
Yes, you can.
and I love a spicy margarita. My main course would be pizza. Because listen, pizza, old reliable. I am reliable. I am there for you. But don't you worry, friends. It's going to be a Hawaiian pizza because a Hawaiian pizza, little quirky, little quirky.
Hawaiian pizzas are my favorite kind, Alexis. So
They're
you're my
my
favorite kind.
as well. Old reliable, but a little different. And then my dessert will for sure be ice cream. Not only because I love ice cream and I live, eat, and breathe by ice cream, but because ice cream can be a little cold, and so can I if you piss me off.
I love it so much. I feel like I'm definitely going to think about this further and possibly switch my answers up in the future. But right now, thinking about it, I feel like for my drink, it would be a lemonade because I'm a little sour and a little sweet. And, some people think I'm refreshing, right? I'm honest. That's refreshing. And then for my main course, like I kind of want to go for favorite foods here. That's why I find this challenging. I would probably do, I love seafood, something seafood related, like maybe some scallops. Sounds a little bougie for me, but you could get some scallops at affordable pricing. And
You're more
they're
like a
just,
shrimp cocktail.
all right, we can go. Actually, I really don't like shrimp cocktail. Maybe like a shrimp pasta. Okay. Um, and then for dessert, it's gonna sound, well, it's good, so I don't care if it sounds bland. But an angel food cake with strawberries and whipped cream because you get a
Ooh,
little sweetness, but it feels a little bit light. And that's kind of like, I like light conversations, funny, silly conversations like this. So maybe that would be me. That's a
that's
good
awesome.
question.
It is
I
a
feel
good
like
question. And I also feel like the conversation we're about to get into is not light and fluffy.
not at all. For someone who says, "Oh, I'm light and fluffy," we definitely chose a rough topic to podcast around. Before I begin, though, when we get all dark and twisty, I do have to give a big, big, big shout out to not one Alexis, but two of our listeners who suggested this case.
And neither of us know this case.
No, and the great suggestion because I really poured into investigating. It's a very interesting case. So thank you to our awesome listener, Rick.
Hey, Rick.
And he sent a super helpful article attached to his email. So you a real one, Rick. And one of my besties, Claire Bear, for the her
Hey,
information as well.
Claire. Hey, Claire,
What up,
Claire.
Claire? Hope to see you soon, girl. But we love you both. You're both baddies, and you are the best. Like I said, I really was invested in this case. We've never heard of it before, and I will tell you right from the beginning, baddies, that sadly this is an unsolved case.
You're doing an unsolved case this time.
And it grinds my gears. But it's extremely interesting, and today I'm going to tell you all about the murders of Brandon Rumbaugh and Lisa Gurrieri. All right. So Lisa was born July 14th, 1984 in Mesa, Arizona, to Paula and John. She also had two brothers, Neil and Denny. They said that Lisa was the light to their family. She could light up any room, and it was a running joke that she would always be the one to very cheerfully be like, "Good morning" to people, which I love because I'm a very cheerful morning person.
I am not.
No. Lisa also loved music. She loved singing and dancing, and one of her obsessions was In Sync and Justin Timberlake.
Yes. Sam, who were you obsessed with in the band? Insane.
I was obsessed with Lance Bass, Alexis.
Sam thought she was going to marry Lance Bass.
My grandmother gave me a card for my birthday with Lance Bass in it, and I put it in my closet, and I would like look at it and be like, he's gonna be my husband one day. But he don't swing for my team. So sadly that never happened. And that's the only reason it didn't happen because I would have been successful. Sorry, Brandon. JK,
The
JK.
age difference, no problem.
Back to the story though. Lisa also had an amazing voice, and she did choir all through junior high and high school. She graduated from Mesa High School and then she went to MCC or Mesa Community College, where she studied business management. Her dream was to become a wedding planner, and all the sources I found said it was after she saw the movie, The Wedding Planner.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
What a throwback. I was like, I need to watch that movie again. It's
And
such a good
seeing
one.
The Wedding Planner, I am here for it.
We would get along. While attending college, Lisa worked at SRP, which was Salt River Project, and they were in charge of like electricity and water for the city. But she worked there as a secretary, and she continued singing in her church choir as well.
She's just living a good life.
She's doing it. May 29th, 2002, sadly, Lisa and her family lost her dad, John, to cancer. He was young, like 45, so very sad.
Oh.
The family was obviously devastated, and her uncle, which was her father's brother, promised to look after them. About 4 months later, in October of 2002, Lisa was at a club where she met Brandon Rumbaugh. Brandon was born May 7th, 1983, so he was about a year older than Lisa. He was born in Phoenix, Arizona to Desiree and Robert, and he had a sister named Jessica. After high school, Brandon joined the United States Marine Reserves, but because of a knee issue I saw in one source, it kind of was short-lived. He then enrolled into Arizona State University. Shout out to the Sun Devils.
Go, Brando.
Woo! That's where my husband goes. And he was also going for business. His goal was to open his own gym. He already was working as a physical trainer at a Mesa gym, which was perfect for that. Apparently, he was a pretty scrawny kid growing up, and then he started to work out, he gained muscles and stuff, and he fell in love with it. So he wanted to make a career out of it. So both had big goals.
Yeah, it sounds like they both really had like their lives together at this point.
Yeah, especially for how young they were. Brandon was also into the arts. He danced even in some productions. He played the drums in a band. Brandon also painted and even sculpted, which how cool is that?
Wow, he's talented.
A man of many traits. People describe him as being spontaneous, funny, and very optimistic. It seems like Brandon and Lisa made a great match, like we said. Both Lisa and Brandon were driven, nice, friendly, had goals. Lisa's mom said that he treated her extremely well and they were truly in love. There were even some reports that they were engaged, although there was no ring. Some say that they were saving up for the ring, but being together long term was a very clear goal for these two. Needless to say, things were going well for Brandon and Lisa. And in August 2003, they moved in together in an apartment in Scottsdale, Arizona. At this point, Lisa is 19 and Brandon is 20. In October of that year, they really wanted to celebrate their first year anniversary. According to some sources, they really wanted to go to Disney. However, they said it was too expensive, so they decided to recreate their first date and go stargazing, which, how cute is
Oh
that?
my gosh, that's so cute.
The cutest thing
I think
ever.
it's always a good idea to recreate your first date.
No matter where it is, because it's
Yeah.
cute. It's meaningful. They decided that they would go and sleep under the stars. With a little hesitation from Lisa's mom, they borrowed her white 2000 Ford F-150 truck so they could sleep in the back of it under the stars.
That's adorable. I would never sleep outside, but if I would sleep outside, that's how I would do it.
What a cute way. Their plan was to go to an isolated desert spot off Interstate 17, which is a road from Phoenix to Flagstaff. They decided to go on a road off of that, and it's called Bumblebee Road.
Bumblebee Road, that's adorable.
So cute. Now, this wasn't an official campground, but it was about 5 miles south of the Sunset Point campground. Although it wasn't a true campground, a lot of people often did this, and it was actually known to be kind of a party area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lisa even asked her mom not to tell her uncle because she knew that he wouldn't approve of them going in this area. But they did tell their friends and family where they were going. They also planned it to just be a quick overnight trip because they had plans the next day. Brandon had to work, and they told Lisa's mom they would have the truck back to her by 9 a.m. the next day. And on Friday, October 17th, 2003, they drove off to celebrate their anniversary. Lisa's mother woke up the next morning, and she says, call it mother's intuition, but she knew right away something was wrong. Brandon's coworkers and parents also start to worry when Brandon doesn't show up for his shift the next day. They knew he was camping with Lisa and were worried something happened, and they report Lisa and Brandon missing to the police. After they are reported missing, two friends who knew where they were camping make their way to Bumblebee Road and just start looking for the vehicle, like anywhere they can. It's a long road, they're looking. Eventually at 3:30 p.m., they found the car. Very sadly and tragically, Lisa and Brandon were in the back, in sleeping bags, with multiple gunshot wounds.
Oh my gosh.
Terrible scene to stumble upon.
They were in
It
their sleeping bags?
in their sleeping bags.
That does not sit right with me.
No. It is important to add that after the tragic murders, family and friends and coworkers really showed up. Lisa's coworkers and friends fundraised to help her mother with funeral costs because if you remember, her family had to pay for her father's funeral not long before this.
Oh my gosh.
Also, Brandon's friends and coworkers actually set up a college fund to financially assist college students. So, shout out to the friends, family, and coworkers of Lisa and Brandon. But investigators quickly rule out a murder suicide, mainly because there was no weapon near them. Whoever did this obviously took the weapon with them. There was also no evidence of robbery or sexual assault, and it appeared that drugs or alcohol were not involved in this either. Now, the police are very tight lipped about the details and suspects because if you remember from the beginning, unfortunately, this is an unsolved case. However, it was stated that they were shot multiple times. I saw in sources that they were shot in the head, and some said abdomen as well. Not until years after the murder did the police even say that based on shell casings found at the scene, Lisa and Brandon were shot with a .25 caliber handgun, which I guess is a very uncommon weapon for this type of crime.
Oh.
So it is a really, if you're not a gun person, it's a really small gun. Also, most .25 caliber handguns can only fit 6 bullets. And in some sources, it said the couple was shot 5 times each. And if that's true,
So they like reloaded.
yep, that would mean whoever did this would have to reload, or there was more than one killer with the same gun, which is interesting and something to think about. I did see that some .25 calibers do hold 10 shots, but it's very rare.
Also, like, this wasn't some secluded area. Like, it might have been kind of secluded, but it sounds like a lot of people were in this area. How did nobody notice 10 gunshots?
Yes. So something to think about there. It is also believed that Brandon and Lisa were either asleep or getting ready to go to sleep when they were attacked.
That's what I was thinking because they're like in their sleeping bags. So it's not like they were sitting up chatting and you can't like fall into your sleeping bag when you get shot.
Yes. Unfortunately, though, there could be some evidence that Lisa actually woke up during the attack.
Oh
But
no.
again, police are pretty tight lipped about it. The autopsy would determine Brandon and Lisa were murdered between 7 p.m. Friday, October 17th, and 8 a.m. Saturday, October 18th. Also, after interviewing people around their campsite, like you said, it is secluded but not secluded. It was common for people to be somewhat around here. Um, no one heard gunshots.
That's wild to me.
Interesting.
There was 10 gunshots,
Yep.
if that's the right number. But no matter what, there's multiple gunshots and nobody hears a thing. Especially you would think like out in the desert where it is secluded, there's like not much to muffle the noise, right? It's not
Yeah.
like you're in the city and there's cars driving and sirens going and people on the street talking. It's legit the middle of the desert.
Yes. And granted, they did say it was party, so possibly music playing, but I feel like you would still be able to hear that, especially in an open place like you're saying, the desert. Now, although they do not suspect it was murder for robbery, two things were missing from the crime scene. The first was a camcorder that they borrowed from Lisa's mother. Now, why would someone steal this? Some people believe that it could be possible that Brandon and Lisa were innocently videotaping themselves and came across something sinister. Could that be why they were killed?
That seems like a
Or
stretch. I mean, anything is possible, but that's weird.
or others believe that it could be possible the person who did this used the camcorder to videotape the murders and took it with them.
That's awful, but I feel like somehow my brain thinks that's more likely than the first one.
Ooh. The other thing missing was Lisa's mom's car keys. Now, if they were trying to steal the car, why wouldn't they dump their bodies somewhere else? So it is believed that they possibly took the car keys, or the person possibly took the car keys, so that on the off chance Brennan and Lisa did wake up or were able to move, they couldn't get away or get
That's
help.
yucky.
Apparently, many people are known for surviving the 25 caliber gunshots. So taking the
Wow.
keys for this purpose would be extremely plausible.
Very sinister.
It is. Something else really odd and interesting. On the way up to Bumblebee Road, Lisa and Brandon brought a black and white disposable camera. Remember disposable cameras?
I love disposable cameras.
I do too.
My friend was telling me this weekend, sorry, this is a tangent, that there's like this app on your phone that is kind of like a disposable camera. Like you take pictures and you can't see them until they develop at a later time. That way you just like take your pictures for the night, put your phone down, and then
I
you
love
look through
this.
them at a later time.
Send me that app. I want it. Well, roughly about 20 to 100 feet away from the truck, they found the camera. It was broken, so either dropped or thrown, but luckily they were able to get the pictures back on the camera.
Ooh.
Now, these photos cause a lot of speculation and confusion within the case, specifically the last three photos, which we will post on the episode post. And Lex, I'm also about to send you a link so you can open it up and look at it real time with me.
Yes, please.
You
I
cannot
was
go
just gonna say,
ahead.
what do I Google for these?
I put one photo each page. I want to hear your thoughts. Don't move ahead. You hear me?
Okay.
I know how your brain works. Hold on. I want to put it in the chat.
Yes, I have ADHD. I need to look at everything at once. Can't
Don't.
wait.
All
Okay,
right.
page one.
Yes. Do you have the first photo?
Oh, she's so cute.
All right. No cheating. Go one at a time with me.
Okay.
The first of those three photos, Lex just said, "Oh, she's so cute." It's Lisa sitting in the back of the car. She's wearing jeans with a belt and a black top and does not have shoes on. And it is clear it is pitch black outside.
Yes.
Lisa appears to be smiling in this photo. However, her mother, Paula, says something is not right with this photo. She says that this is not Lisa's smile, and this looks scared or like she's distressed. From an
Guess a mother
outside,
knows.
that's what I
I
was going
would
to say.
never say that about this picture.
From an outside perspective, I didn't get that vibe, but I think as a mother, you know that. You know how your daughter smiles. You know how I know how you smile. I would know if something was off or like, oh, you don't look super happy in this photo. Is everything okay? You know?
I think like maybe if she does think like she looks distressed in her eyes, the only thing I can think of is it's obviously very dark and then like the camera flashes bright, so maybe it's like a little like taken
Oh,
aback look as opposed to like a like I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of.
oh, that's a very good point. Go ahead and scroll to a photo too.
Brandon,
The next photo is
this
Brandon.
looks like he's trying to be really cool.
Oh my God, I literally wrote that. Brandon is in the same spot. His arms are crossed, and his face, in my opinion, kind of looks irritated, mad, or like he's trying to be the cool guy in the photo. Exactly what you said. Of course, I don't know him at all, but that's the vibe I get. He's also wearing jeans, what appears to be a black top, and his shoes are on.
It's very of that time though.
Yes,
Like disposable cameras, pose and try to look cool because you don't know what it looks like, so you're just like trying to make it look the coolest possible.
exactly. And also like Go Lisa because he kind of looks like a Justin Timberlake in sync type.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, the third photo is the most interesting. Scroll down to photo three.
Oh boy, what is that?
So, a lot of sources said this was the last photo in the film, while some said they couldn't be certain it was the actual last photo. It appears to be taken by accident, possibly, like maybe it was
Yes,
dropped. It's hard to make out, but possibly looks like it was taken behind a door frame.
it looks like it's looking inside somewhere.
Yep, possibly from a door, right?
Yeah,
What is clear in the photo is a hanging light fixture and a window with blinds.
yeah.
Do you see
Like
that?
this is inside. This is
Yep.
like not in a truck. This is
Nope.
not them sleeping in a truck in the middle of the desert. This is like a house.
Yep. People also see a plant under the light fixture. My first thought was whatever is in that background had like a floral print on it. It's hard to see that.
I also think it might just be like the way old film like crinkled and stuff.
Oh, that could be. When the family was questioned, no one knew the location of this photo.
I mean, it'd
I,
be very, very hard to tell unless you had a very distinctive lamp. But this looks like a lamp from like the Walmart lamps that you get like to put in your dorm. Like nothing special about it.
yeah, I did see in a source, is it possible they got hungry and went to a close diner? They needed dinner. Or that they were at this abandoned building, which was close by. However, I do think the police would be able to verify those things possibly. Um, Maybe they did, I don't know because they are being tight-lipped. But they did release the photos for the public's help. Now, if this photo was taken before the trunk photos, that means Brendan and Lisa went somewhere else before getting back to the campsite. I think why people think it could be a diner of some sort, like they were hungry, they had to get dinner. Or people think, did they go somewhere else and get caught up in something bad? Now, some people think this is the last photo on the camera roll, like I mentioned. And if that's the last photo, this is a very odd last photo after the trunk photos, because like you said, it's inside.
It doesn't fit at all.
No. So that would mean they took the trunk photos and then had this mysterious photo taken and then they were murdered. Some people think maybe that is where they died or got murdered. Or other people think that the murderers took the camera somewhere. But that would mean the murderers would have to come back to the scene of the crime and drop the camera. So I don't think that one is pretty plausible. I did think while looking at this photo, though, remember, no one heard the gunshots. Were they possibly shot somewhere else and brought back? But if so, why?
There's no for sure this is the last photo or not.
A lot of sources says it was. And then I had a handful of sources say there's no way to know for sure if it was.
Oh, that's
Also,
scary.
it is. Also, I do think that if they were shot somewhere else, again, police would probably be able to tell that with blood splatter. But also, they're tight lipped. We don't know.
How long ago was this?
2003.
Okay,
Let
I
me
feel
double
like we
check
could
that.
be a little less tight-lipped 20 years later.
I know, right?
Maybe we could give a little bit more information to try to get a little bit more help.
So, just super odd photos, if you would agree.
Yes.
And it is important to note that another item was found at the scene. Again, we don't know, but it was being tested for DNA not super long ago because obviously DNA technology came a long way since 2003. However, I cannot find the results of that or if they
And what
got the
we don't know
results.
what this item was.
Nope. Now, are you ready to get into some theories, Lex?
Yes, I want all the theories.
An early theory, and one of the first, was that someone in the couple's friend group committed the murder.
That's what I was thinking. Like, who knew they were out there? They said they told family and friends, but what is the motive?
Specifically, one of the friends that found the car. People point to him being the one to find them, saying it's odd he knew where the car was. However, they did say they were going to Bumblebee Road, and they did look for quite some time. But also, according to her uncle, the one she was really close with, this friend had really strong feelings for Lisa and wanted to be with her. That could possibly be motive. Other members of Lisa's family also believe he could be responsible and made their feelings clear to detectives. After the murders, this quote unquote friend quickly packed his belongings and left the state, leaving nothing.
Okay, that's weird.
It is. However, the suspect was given a polygraph test later, and he did pass and was cleared by detectives at that time.
I wonder if he was cleared on polygraph tests alone or if on other stuff. I mean, it is a pretty weak motive, right? Like,
Yes,
it's not like there's a whole ton to gain, especially like I know it happens, but you'd think like maybe he'd kill him so he could get her, but to kill both, I don't know. I don't love this one.
a couple thoughts I have on it is one, we know polygraphs aren't always 100%. So, should they have cleared him 100%? I don't know. He was searching with other friends for the car. So, I don't know if it's odd that he found them unless he was being very persistent about it. But again, we don't know that. And lastly, if he wanted Lisa, why would he have killed her? Unless she woke up during it, like the evidence showed, got
Ooh.
caught, and that's why. I don't know though. Another possible suspect was a man that appeared to be arguing with Brandon in the doorway of their apartment at the Scottsdale Greens on Osborne Road.
In a doorway?
At their home, though. But yeah,
Did they have a light in their home? Like the picture is so like obviously taken or like did you say an apartment? Was it somebody else's apartment?
it was Brandon and Lisa's.
I know, but like were there other apartments in the building and it fell and one of their
Oh,
neighbors' door was cracked open or
that could be.
had
However,
a
they
sliding
did
glass door?
purchase it on the way to camping.
Hmm.
It is suspected this argument took place at about 10 p.m. a day before Brandon and Lisa left for this camping trip.
Okay.
The man was described as a white man, possibly in his 40s. He was husky and wearing a white t shirt and blue jeans. I don't believe the police were able to find this man that we know of, which is odd in itself, I feel. However, that would mean this man followed them all the way to Bumblebee Road and then waited to kill them both. Possibly, yes. I just feel like there isn't enough information on this one.
No, and it's like how well did he know this man he was arguing with? Who was it? What were they arguing about? Like there
Yes,
need to be way more information. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's very possible, but I just that is not enough information.
I agree 100%. Now, there were a decent amount of similar crimes suspected to be connected or like a serial killer doing this at random. One of them being Israel Keys, who is a pretty well known serial killer. However, that one seems to be a huge stretch.
Wasn't his MO, was it?
No, it's a very, very big stretch. So I wasn't really going to get into it much, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't remember a lot about him, if I'm being honest right now, but I did not think that that's similar enough. Um, it says he targeted random people all around the United States, frequented campgrounds and isolated locations. He only used guns. He did say he liked to strangle people because he liked to watch them lose consciousness.
And they weren't, well, they don't, the police didn't say they were strangled.
I mean, he confessed to two, but it was in Vermont and
And this
Alaska.
similar, but a stretch.
No, the way too much of a stretch for me.
One of the more plausible connections, though, was in 2004, a year after the murder. Sonoma County detectives in California were investigating the double murder of Lindsay Cutshall and Jason Allen. another young couple that was found shot to death on the beach in sleeping bags.
What?
Interesting connections. However, 13 years later, after killing his own brother, survivalist Sean Michael Gallen pled guilty to the murder. He also admitted to trying to kill another man with a bomb in 2004. According to his family, Sean had a lot of issues with the law and wasn't the same after taking a lot of LSD in like 2001. Is it possible he admitted to Lindsay and Jason's murder, the attempted murder, and his brother's murder, but not Lisa and Brandon's? Yes. But with the confession, I don't think police believe there is a connection anymore, just a coincidence.
Yeah, it is very strange the in sleeping bags part. Like that's wild,
Yeah,
but also like if they do have some DNA evidence, you'd imagine they'd test it against this guy
truth.
if it was good
And
enough. I don't know.
yeah, and California and Arizona aren't too far away, so I think it would be more plausible than the Israel Keys one, but still a
Still
stretch.
not good.
None of
Still
them.
not good.
The last theory comes from Deborah West, who is a baddie, and she volunteers to work on cold cases and is still working on this one. Deborah thinks the young couple was most likely killed by a stranger during a vehicle robbery gone wrong. She thinks, based on the evidence, it is likely someone attempted to steal the truck and was caught off guard by people sleeping in the back. So, as a result, shot the couple in a heat of the moment type situation. Now, earlier I did say I wasn't sure about that because why not steal the car and dump the bodies? However, 6 months later, a similar crime was committed a few miles away from where they were. During this crime, two men from Yuma, Arizona were shot dead in Crown King. Their truck was stolen, though. Unfortunately, the only suspect was later found dead by suicide in Colorado, so they were not able to question him. Again, possible, yes. Do I see some flaws? Also, yes.
Yeah, there's nothing that sticks really.
No.
Like this is
And
another situation where I just don't lean any way.
I don't lean any way either. And I think part of that is the police are very tight-lipped. There's not a lot of information out. And like you said, over 20 years have passed. Why are we still being so tight-lipped? Unfortunately, that is all that is really out there about the case. As of 2023, there was a new detective on the case with fresh eyes that had been working on it for a couple of years at that point, and volunteers were also helping out. With this new detective, they are reviewing evidence, seeing what's being sent in and what the results were. They were working on a genealogy to get identification on some of that DNA found to hopefully generate leads. And I believe they're interviewing people again as well. Because this location is super popular with off road vehicle people, detectives are hoping that more people who may have been there or saw the couple October 17th, 2003, at night or October 18th during the morning hours will speak out and call Frank Barabo at 928-771-3278. That number will be linked. Or Silent Witness, where you can be anonymous at 800-932-3232. Also linked. Yavapi Silent Witness is offering $10,000 cash reward for information, and you can submit a tip to their website as well. I'll end with what Sergeant Jamie Rothschild said in the case. He said, what you may perceive as a very small puzzle piece might work very well in the detective's overall picture in the investigation. So we need any information, whether it's seemingly insignificant or huge. All the information will help. And that is the unsolved murders of Brandon Rumbaugh and Lisa Gurrieri.
That's wild. I know this is like literally the same information that you're giving, but I think like the only two explanations are someone they told knew where they were going and followed them and waited till they were asleep. Or I think it had to have been like someone came upon them while they were sleeping.
It doesn't add up in that photo. Like, none of it sits well with me. And that last, if that is the last photo, does not sit well with me at all. Seems like something
Yeah,
nefarious or something went on.
but it doesn't make sense.
No. And then the police also said like sexual assault wasn't involved, drugs wasn't involved, alcohol wasn't involved. So like what happened? That short stargazing celebration of a 1 year anniversary turned out horrific.
That's wild. This is gonna be one of those ones that I just like randomly think about, be like, what happened?
It is. It's so wild. And I think, like the sergeant said, any information could be super helpful. That's what's going to get this solved. So thank you to Claire and Rick for bringing this to our attention because we didn't know about it.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you guys so much for listening. Please give us a follow, like, and subscribe on the podcast or wherever you're listening. Maybe it's YouTube. Like and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and don't forget to leave us a nice review or comments or anything. Interact with our stuff. That'll really help us out.
You can also send us an email with a case suggestion, just like Rick and Claire, or just a true crime story to bloodshedbaddies@gmail.com. Intro music made by Cousin Vinny. Music from him coming soon. Tell a friend, tell everyone about this, especially if you're from the Arizona area. In 2003, we're there. And tune in next week for a Lex episode.
Goodbye.
Love, 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 love you.